This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charge the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Yes! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
You live by the dog, you die by the dog.
Quack, quack. Капризов.
You calling me a coward? Young man, I've done things that would make the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Border battle!
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Brilliant!
Genius, idiot, moron, imbecile. What a Morris.
Housekeeping!
I love the common man.
Thanks. Yeah!
I love the common man.
All right, this is Don King talking about panel about Bruno and Tyson, but give the common man the raise he so richly deserves. Don't lose him. Don't be standing on the dock of the bay when the ship is out to sea and the corner man is on board. You better get on board. Don't be there crying and whining. Get him and keep him. Give him the raise that he deserves.
Well done, young man!
You know, sometimes when you practice, you'll set up chairs. You know, and you run through chairs just to show zones and stuff. The Viking defense looks like it's chairs.
We don't go nowhere. Next question.
Welcome back to the spotlight, young man!
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Most of that is accurate, not all of it. It really is not real. Ack, to you and yours. That's your password for tomfoolery, skullduggery. I'm Common, he's Tennessee, and this is the worst all sports radio station in the country. So says a former employee who finally was fired from here. I'm a radio dinosaur, and the fan is my La Brea tar pit. Someday, archaeologists and paleontologists will sift through the rubble that is 1600 Utica Avenue South, and they will stumble across my skeletal remains of my cold, dead, I know it's not rigor mortis, what is it? Fossilized, whatever, lips attached to this Neumann BCM 104 microphone. It's not a Neumann anymore. I don't remember what, it's an Electrolux or something. And they'll say, EGAD is a social commentator with an archaic communication device. We are here until 3. Rock rank as a part of Rock Talk today at 12:30. I've not heard from Brian Oak. Have you, Tennessee?
Yes.
Okay, because he will text me and say, are we on for today? I've not heard from him, so maybe he's just bypassing me now and going directly.
He now wants to know ahead of time what's going to be on Rock Rank so he can prepare accordingly.
Rock Rank?
Yeah.
Rock Rank. So we'll do that at 12:30. The legendary one will join us at 2. Prior to that, the head coach at 1:20. Is that the
1:20? That's scheduled time.
That is a scheduled time, and being Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days from game time. I don't know if we'll learn any more about who's going to be the starting quarterback this week for the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings. My guess is he will not tip his hand. He'll say something that JJ's making progress. We're pleased with what we see. But, we still need his feet in sync with his eyes. And then he'll do the people like to call it word salad. That's never been a phrase I've been very fond of. But if that's what people want to call it, I guess we can. I just call it a lot of mumbo jumbo is what it is. I call it a lot of it's like trying to evade a pass rush, right? When you're hit with a bevy of questions and people are trying to get to the bottom of I don't know if you want to call it a controversy, a quarterback controversy, and they really don't want to say anything because I think maybe they don't even know for sure what they want to do or they don't want to tip their hand at the other team and all that. But we'll see. We'll find out. That will be at about 1:20 or so. Plenty to get to. More Major League Baseball. Another scintillating performance on the mound by the L.A. Dodgers. They play baseball the real way you're supposed to play. Of course, they have a lot of money, too. That doesn't hurt. Your Wild Club, I don't know what to think now. We've been on pace to be 5-0 or outscore every team. We won a first game 5-0. So we were on pace to score 82 times 504, whatever, 450 plus goals a game and not give any up. We were going to go 82-0, and now it's headed in the other direction to a certain extent. Also, we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves will be starting their season soon, so plenty to get to. I'm not sure where to begin. Let's spin the wheel of topics.
Commons golf game.
What did you shoot today?
I just picked up after a while. It was so bad today.
Where'd we play?
I played at the U of M Lester Bolstad.
Where'd you hit it on one?
I did hit it right up the gut. Hit a perfect drive in the first
hole. How far from the green?
Let's see, one. Where was it? Oh, I still had a ways to go. I had a hybrid in my hand. They changed one from what it used to be. It used to be just a straight-on par 4. Now a dog legs right.
Oh.
I hit a terrible hybrid and just crashed into a tree and fell down. I hit a little...
Right or left?
Right. Then I had to hit a little knockdown.
Iron might as well be a pitchfork.
I had to hit a little knockdown. I think I hit a 54 degree. I thought it was perfect, but it skittered across the green. Hit a weak shot on, but then I buried the putt. My putter was rock solid like it's been for 10 days, but it just got away from me. A couple of things. First of all, the only difference between the last 10 days when I played really well and today was Brett Blakemore played with me. And so I think Brett Blakemore is bad luck. So I'm going to, what did Chris Carter say, Tennessee? Well, he said, $30 million won't get you to the grave. Foo. But what else did he say?
Gotta have a fall guy?
That is correct. And Brett Blakemore is my fall guy. Plus, this is official, unofficial ambassador to Minnesota Golf, a business that I have to take care of here. I think the weight of playing the Les Bolstad University of Minnesota golf course for the very last time, for me, was a little bit too much to overcome. I was playing with a heavy heart. They're closing the course after this year. It's over. They've decided in all their brilliance, I don't know if it's the administration at the U. I don't know if that's what do they call the people that run not alumni, but what's the word I'm looking for?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's a little like board regions?
Yeah, regions. The board of regions. Is it the board of regions? I don't know who it is, but they've decided they want to sell the golf course and make, and I don't know what they'll get for it, if it'll be 10 million, 20, 50, 100 million, and it's good money.
It'll be a good chunk of change.
But I've also heard that property's not as valuable as people think just because it's harder to build on because there's wetlands all over it. There's all sorts of, but I'm sure they'll find some developer that will go ahead and do that. But I guess they have a dire need for money at the U. I mean, everybody does, right? They've decided that's one way to try to fill the gaps is to sell the property. Though the golf course is profitable. It's legendary. It's been around since 1929. Now I know it's probably outlived its usefulness as far as the U doesn't play there. I mentioned yesterday that I thought the U played their tournaments at Windsong Farm. I had a couple people tell me it's the TPC, the Twin Cities, so I had it wrong, and I apologize for that. I think it was at Windsong for a while. But it's at the TPC, the Twin Cities, because, Bolstad from the tips only plays like 6,300 yards. It just doesn't, it does with the technology and with everybody hitting for golf clubs and golf balls and with the kids hitting the ball as far as they can, they just can't use that golf course anymore. But it's a nice facility, but it's gone. And, I wish they... I think they should, how many people have graduated from the University of Minnesota and with that degree have parlayed that into a multi-million-dollar living? Why don't you go to those people and just have them pony up some money and give back to the University of Minnesota instead of selling the golf course? I'm opposed to it. I think the Regents are making a mistake. But there's nothing, I will not rest until the University of Minnesota Board of Regents changes their mind. Pivots.
Can we go out and protest?
We could.
Right, they kind of worked with Hiawatha, did it not?
Where were they doing the naked protest? I saw a story.
They're doing a naked protest?
I saw a story the other day somewhere. Some group was protesting something and they were riding bikes naked. I think it might have been in Seattle. I don't know where.
Were they protesting clothes?
Much like Mark Rosen said, he will not rest until Jim Marshall is in the Hall of Fame. My guess is Mark hasn't done anything to get Jim Marshall into the Hall of Fame, but he said he won't rest. I will not rest until the Board of Regents reverses their decision.
Oh my gosh, you are above average at that.
It's more than I can stand. They're closing Les Bolstad. That doesn't rhyme. What rhymes with Bolstad? They're getting more.
Bad?
Yeah.
You're making me mad?
You're really making me mad by closing Les Bolstad, though it's Bolstead. It's Bolstead.
Well, you can just rhyme the last syllable.
You can do whatever you want to do, I guess. But yeah, so I just know how to play pretty well. Now, and that, again, it's when the round got away with me. I was just kind of practicing shots because I was thinking, has my game after 10 days of some of the best golf I've ever played just disappeared again? I don't think so. I hit some good shots out there, but nonetheless, we laughed, we cried. So yeah, Lester Bolstad, if you want to play it one last time or if you've never played it, it's a fun golf course in terrific shape. I talked with Brent, the superintendent. He was out there. He told me, he goes, I thought I was going to retire here, but it's apparently not going to happen. Eddie Wynn is he runs the place over there. I met Eddie first over at Stone Ridge. He was there for years at Stone Ridge, and he moved over to the University of Minnesota. And yeah, so there would be a number of people losing their jobs when that happens. But if you've never played the course or want to, because I think October 30th is it, and they're shutting her down, and there will be no more. You've played Les Bolstad, haven't you?
I've played it once or twice. Yes.
I think maybe you tagged.
I feel like those types of golf courses I don't fare well at.
It's tight.
Tree line tight golf courses.
Tree line tight, hilly. Yeah, it
doesn't fit my game.
Yeah, it's only 6,300 yards, but it's tough. I like that there's the two holes on the other side of Larpenteur. You take the tunnel underneath Larpenteur and you go play 10 and 11. Two great holes. Too bad you got to walk down them single file. And then they have two holes, number 12 and number 15, that have the periscopes. So that you look down at them, it's got so that you can see down the fairway to make sure it's cleared. So it's and it's the U of M's home course for all those years. Jack Nicklaus played there, Tom Lehman played there, all the greats played there over the years. So, but it is gone. So let's do this. Let's take a break. There's plenty to get to with the purple. I know this won't be if I say this will be the last time we talk about who should start at quarterback, people will go, well, that's not true, and you're right because we will talk about it again. But I'm going to read an email, and then I'm going to try to. I'm going to come at it from a different angle and try to explain to you what I really think is happening in the inner workings of TCO Performance Center, the new Minter Park. And it's the media and the fans have been feeding this. You're getting what you asked for. I'll explain. Other side of the break with Peek at the Purple. But right now, Tennessee has a keyword for our national cash contest.
The fan and two men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with their national cash contest. Enter the keyword bank at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is bank. Enter it now at KFAN.com. We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
My 5th grade teacher at Adams Elementary School in Coon Rapids, Mr. Kaiser, I've mentioned him a couple of times. If you'll remember, Tennessee, I think it was his son, emailed or called into the radio station and said, "That's my dad you're talking about." I asked him about you and told him that you mentioned him on the air and the red paddle down in the boiler room, getting swats when you misbehaved. And Mr. Kaiser apparently said, well, he probably deserved it. And I did. And I appreciate Mr. Kaiser doing everything he can to instill some discipline in me. Didn't work, but he tried, right? Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end, and my end hurt. Let me just say that. Do you think they're selling Bolstad because they're gearing up for PJ's next contract? Yeah, we got to come up with the money somewhere. Because he'll get a big fat raise,
they get an extension every year when it comes to college coaches because they always have to stay more than the 4 years on their contract. So
Yeah. Because,
it's a scam.
When you're 6-5 and you make a bowl game, someone texted me and said, PJ Fleck is going to get the Penn State job. Why does everybody think PJ Fleck is the number one choice for every college football opening? Yeah.
It hasn't been that great here.
No,
I like him.
Yeah,
he's been solid,
but it's not like it's Penn State, and you know what? I think the coach likes it here. I really do. I think he does like it here. I think he likes where he's been, where he's going, where he's at. Makes a lot of money, not too much pressure. But I think if you get a Penn State offer, you go, right. That's a
just financially alone. I'm assuming it's an offer you can't refuse.
It's Happy Valley, and it's they've won. I know they haven't won a natty in a long. When did they win their last natty? Was that mid-90s, mid-80s? I don't even recall. I thought it was like 95 or 94 that Penn State won a natty. I might be way off with that. Maybe they've never won one. I thought they've won 3. I thought Penn State's won 3 national championships and won like in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s.
Just 1982 and 1986.
It was 86. It was that far. So it was 2. So I was off by 1, and it was back in the mid-80s, not the mid-90s. So yeah, a long time ago. But still, it's a high-profile program. Pick at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. If you've just purchased an EV to take advantage of that $7,500 tax break before it expired, you'll need to install a 240-volt outlet for a level 2 charger. They can do that for you at Affordable Electric at an affordable price. They're also looking for help. Journeyman electrician and an apprentice electrician. If you're looking for the level 2 charger, looking for work, or any of your electrical needs, I highly recommend Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. Yikes. Where did my email go? Tim, you have to hit the music. Sorry. So, email from Luke. He emailed me on Monday to talk about the quarterback controversy here in Minnesota, and not collegiate, not high school, but the pro level. J.J. McCarthy, the ordained franchise quarterback, handpicked, 10th pick overall 2 years ago by the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, and Carson Wentz, who has replaced him since an injury. And Wentz was sitting on the couch. Well, maybe he wasn't on his couch. He might have a recliner. He might be sitting in a love seat. I don't know where he was sitting when he got the call, but the Vikings called and said, we need a backup quarterback, and he signed a deal, and then he's played 3 games for the Vikings, and he's gone 2-1. So He says, I've been listening to your antennas arguing about why you favor continuing to play Wentz. Then he goes, well, I think some of your points have validity. Neither of you have portrayed the McCarthy side of the debate very well. Then he goes on to explain it. And then I texted him back on Tuesday after I saw this. He sent it Monday. On Tuesday, I said, doesn't matter what you or I think. The team is a game out of first place. They're playing to win, not develop a quarterback. He writes, then he responded again, this would be yesterday or later Tuesday. He said, the point I'm trying to get across is that starting Wentz is not playing to win. Maybe win the next game, and that's a big maybe, but it's playing to make the playoffs and then lose. Our media and fan base has long been satisfied with that result and seems to consider it a successful season. I might be in the minority, but I don't consider that a successful season. Developing JJ this year and getting him regular season, hopefully postseason experience, is the path to truly playing to win. I know my take is quite esoteric, but that's the burden I carry. You don't have the esoteric approach. It's only a few people do. Luke, I love you, but I employ the esoteric approach. Here's the angle I guess I'll come at with it. And it can be, I think most Vikings fans think Kevin O'Connell is a terrific head coach, or at least a good head coach, right? I think most people, I know you do.
Yes.
You think he might be this side, Andy Reid might be the best quarterback. One of the best quarterbacks in pro football. One of the reasons he's so highly regarded is because he is he's been proclaimed a quarterback whisperer.
What Kevin McHale was to big men.
Exactly.
Kevin O'Connell is to quarterbacks.
That is correct. It started with, I don't think they talked much about it when he was with Cousins. I don't remember quarterback whisperer coming out of there though. And it almost seems like it was after the fact, like revisionist history. Oh, that was a really good season by Kirk. I think O'Connell had a lot to do with it. I think you and I have discussed that, and we've considered, did Kirk play a little bit better that season? Maybe so. Was it because of Kevin O'Connell? I don't know. I don't know if there's any way to prove that or not. And then after Pasternak, what was his name again?
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs came in, and he had one really great game, and then maybe another game and a half that was pretty good.
Yeah, the Saints game after was pretty good.
And people thought, wow, remember there were people that wanted to sign. Well, we have our quarterback now.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs is our guy. He's one of those RPO guys, and that certainly didn't work out either. We draft McCarthy. He gets hurt. Darnold comes in. Darnold's brilliant. He had been cast aside by two other franchises. He was the third pick overall in his draft year, and everybody had given up on him, and suddenly he was brilliant last year. He was simply brilliant. We all know what happened. They had a chance in the final game of the season to win the division. If they would have beaten Detroit, they would have been the number one seed overall. He did not play well. Whether he cracked under the pressure, whatever it was, he made a number of bad passes, bad decisions. They lose to the Lions. The Vikings go from a chance to be the number one seed overall with a first round bye. They drop to fifth, and then they get smothered by the Rams. And again, I don't think it was there. I don't remember every play in that game. Was there a play or two where maybe Darnold hung on to the ball too long? I suppose so, but it was mostly the interior of the Vikings offensive line, and even the head coach thought that, because he said it almost immediately following the game, we have to address the interior of the offensive line. But everybody seems to think that O'Connell can coach up quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the coach believes that too. So I'm sure he believes he can coach up Wentz. Why wouldn't you believe that? And if you're a fan of the quarterback whisperer, why wouldn't Wentz has played pretty well in these first three games? Maybe quarterback whisperer is going to lift Wentz to the same place he lifted Darnold. Why is everybody so impatient? Want to get McCarthy back in there? Relax, enjoy the season. Quarterback whisperer is going to have Wentz comeback player of the year. You must believe that because you love O'Connell and you think he's a quarterback whisperer. You think he's going to coach McCarthy up to be the franchise quarterback. So if he is, that can wait because he's going to coach Wentz up. Right? Isn't that the logic? Isn't that the most... If that's the logic you believe, if you believe O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer, what he did for Darnold, what he did for Cousins, every quarterback he has mentored, they have Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes didn't even play under a snap for the Vikings, and still O'Connell's getting the credit for Danny Dimes playing the way he is this year. Well, then why would Wentz be any different? What's wrong with you fans? Wentz just led the team on, he went 9 for 9 in the final drive and pulled the fat out of the fire and got us to 3-2. He saved the season. Why do you want to discard him? Quarterback whisper, wait till you see what they do against the Eagles. Quarterback whisper might be NFC offense. Wentz, after listening to quarterback whisper, might end up being the NFC offensive player of the week. So just relax. We'll have Wentz play well. We'll break. We'll come back. By the way, Peek at the Purple was brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com for all of your electrical needs. Brian Oak next. A little rock talk here on The Fan.
Off of the bye week, the Vikings will look to ground the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday at noon. Catch every touchdown, every sack, and every game-changing play right here on the audio home for Minnesota Vikings football, KFAN, and on the go with the free iHeartRadio app.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's 10 to be. Excited and delighted to be joined by Brian Oak, a.k.a. the Grum Reaper.
That's really good. Wow. I liked Angel of Death, but the Grum Reaper, is that...
It's all yours.
No, but I mean, who...
That's more Amsterdam, I'm guessing?
No.
Oh.
No, not everything's more Amsterdam.
Well, that sounds like his type of humor.
But it was not more Amsterdam guy. I mean, can I get a little credit for...
Well, after all, I mean, you are the common man. Yeah. This is your commonwealth.
It was a listener, but he is someone it wasn't like a staff, a senior staff writer, junior staff writer, even it was just a contributor.
Well, that's a bright young writer who's working his way up the ranks, to be certain.
His resume is on file. His resume is on file.
Grum Reaper.
You're the Grum Reaper. Yeah. We have a Grum Reaper today, and let me start by saying this.
Go ahead.
I'd never heard of D'Angelo before, Dateline Los Angeles. D'Angelo, another of the one-named singers. That's kind of a popular thing. You've got, I don't know where it started, but, you have like Madonna and...
Charo.
Charo and Beyonce.
Twiggy in the modeling world.
I guess,
I mean,
Twiggy.
She was kind of like Iman later on, David Bowie's widow. And, it's happened a bunch.
Adelaide. And,
Adele, I got you.
Adele.
Yeah, there we go. He had a full name, but he went by D'Angelo.
The Grammy-winning R&B singer, recognized by his raspy yet smooth voice, and for garnering mainstream attention with the shirtless, untitled "How Does It Feel" music video, died at age 55. His real name, Michael Eugene Archer, died Tuesday, according to a statement from his family. The singer's family confirmed in a statement that he died after a battle with cancer. His family called him a shining star for our family and has dimmed his light for us in this life. It says his music blended hip-hop grit, emphatic soul, and gospel rooted emotion into a sound that helped spearhead the neo-soul movement of the 1990s. I'm assuming all that's accurate. I didn't know there was a neo-soul.
He grew up in the church, so for him to have those sort of spiritual and soul roots makes perfect sense. And he did. He was absolutely an R&B singer, but he brought a modern mentality and not really a hip-hop sound as much as attitude, I would say. And it doesn't hurt that the guy was impossibly good-looking, and that shirtless video is iconic for more than just the song itself. He was at that perfect juncture in space-time where R&B needed a kick in the butt, and there was nobody better to do it than D'Angelo. And the neo-soul thing, it was extremely popular in the 90s, and he was probably the biggest face of it. I mean, there were other names in there to be certain. Erykah Badu kind of comes out of that same melting pot, and she's brilliant. I was not super deep on D'Angelo, and he was always sort of a weird, mysterious figure, like would just splash with something massive and then go quiet, and you wouldn't hear anything, and no one really knew too much about him, but he remained this enigmatic and highly popular figure throughout his career. And yeah, cancer takes another one, man. I don't like being the Grum Reaper, but I do like it that we get to talk about people that maybe aren't part of the everyday conversation one more time. Again, I could not go deeper than 2 or 3 songs on D'Angelo, but when you're in the right, you see, I didn't like the down-tempo Boyz II Men slow jam stuff of the 90s, but there was just a sweet, delicious groove on someone like D'Angelo that he did it better than anyone else at a time when music needed it. He was great.
A text messenger says he thinks Beethoven started the one name thing.
By the way, I heard you shutting Warren down the other day regarding Bad Bunny on the halftime show. Yeah. And then when the follow-up line was something like, I wonder if Benny Goodman is available, or what, I can't remember what it was.
It was Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong.
Well, hello, darling.
Duke Ellington.
Dude, that's what it was. And I laughed so hard. I was in my car, parked in a parking lot, listening to the Grum, and that's exactly it. I mean, I hate to break it to Warren and everybody else who's bummed out about it. Either you're old, or you're racist, and or you don't like to be reminded that you are no longer the primary demo. And that it can be a tough realization for many, but the world will continue to evolve now and long after each and every one of us is gone. So you might as well just, in the words of John Lennon, turn off your mind, relax, and float downstream.
Or as Ken Kesey, was it Ken Kesey or no?
About being on the bus?
Tune in, turn on, and drop out.
Oh, I think that was Leary, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Timothy Leary.
Timothy Leary, yeah.
Tune in, turn on, drop out, which I did. I took him at his word. I did
the same thing, actually. Yeah,
I actually enjoyed it.
I don't recommend it, but I
enjoyed it for quite some time.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it.
Also, I think we've talked. I don't want to say you're not something that maybe you are, but I don't think you're a huge fan of prog rock.
I don't, again, the problem I have with prog rock is the people who are into it, they're so into it. Yeah. And like, I don't mind hearing a song by Rush or Yes or Dream Theater or Tool or whatever you're into.
Like Palmer.
Fine, exactly. I love it. But I don't want to listen to a 4-hour live rendition of something they did in Hamburg in 1978.
See, I love that.
I know. But again, as a one-off, as a nice little field trip for an hour or two, cool. But I can't listen to it all the time. But there are people who would put Pink Floyd in the prog rock category, and I could listen
Jethro Tull in the prog rock category, and I don't know.
I could listen to Pink Floyd all day, every day. So it's a matter of flavors. Yeah. There's lots of subgenres within prog rock, but I would not be what you would call its biggest advocate. Genesis was prog rock.
Yes. One of my 5 favorite bands of all time is the band Yes.
And I can't be mad about that because they were all superb players, very influential and very important, and put out a string of incredible albums.
Yeah, Bill Bruford might be one of the best prog rock drummers of all time, if not the best. Though some would say Neil Peart, who has passed away, the former drummer for Rush. Rick Wakeman was one of 2 keyboardists. John Anderson, the lead singer. Steve Howe, guitarist. Bass player. Why am I drawing? I
don't know. This is your band. I know some of the names. I know Anderson and I know Wakeman and that's at Bruford, but that's about it.
I'll think of it. I'll think of it here and again. Anyways, I hadn't listened to them in years. This is about 10 years ago, and I was going up to Brainerd, and I said, I'm going to go into Best Buy and I'm going to find a CD because I still had a CD player in my car and CDs were still kind of not real popular, but that's what I was doing.
They're still around.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. So I went in and I started, and I stumbled across Close to the Edge, which I gave
then loaned to me.
To it. Yeah. And I put it in. I hadn't listened to it. I bet since my Haight Ashbury days when I was 17, 18 years old.
So you'd never listened to it sober.
So this is right. So this is 30 years, 35 years. I was listening on the way to Brainerd, and when the song Close to the Edge, which takes up one entire site, 18 minutes and 40 seconds, came to its conclusion, I pulled over to the side of the road and I wept.
Right.
It meant that much to me. It was that good. And then I listened to it a second time.
Yeah.
That's how much it meant to me. Now, the reason I bring up the prog rock thing is apparently Rush has decided to, I think 9 or 10, 11, 12, however long it's been, they are going on tour.
Yep.
Though they will be without Neil Peart. And that doesn't mean they can't tour, but it's, you and I have talked about this many, many times. Anytime key members of bands are missing, I wouldn't say this is a cover band because, Geddy Lee.
It's still the two primaries. I mean, granted, even with his legendary status as one of the great drummers in rock history, I think most of what people are paying attention to, unless they're deep prog heads or deep percussion heads, are the words and the licks, right?
Yes, exactly. And,
but yeah, I know I have a couple friends who are prog rock fanatics, and they are pumped that Rush is going to be going back out there. They are excited.
Now, let me ask you a question about, you went to, you saw Stonehenge in Chicago.
Queens of the Stone Age, but yes.
Queens of the Stone Age.
I did, in fact, just a couple of weeks ago. It was great.
Because people were asking, they wanted to see what you thought about it.
So the weird thing is, I've gone to Chicago, driven to Chicago many times before, but this was this is the quickest turnaround I've ever done.
Squire is the name I was trying to think of.
You're exactly right. We left at 8 a.m. and drove straight through to Chicago, got stuck in rush hour traffic in Chicago, checked into our hotel, went down to the Chicago Theater, which, by the way, if anyone's never been inside the Chicago Theater, it's the iconic one downtown that has the big Chicago sign right out front. It is perhaps the most ornate and gorgeous theater I've ever been to. From the second you walk into this old school turn of the century lobby, these giant grand staircases spiraling up to the fourth floor and the highest balcony. And then the inside just adorned and so gorgeous. I mean, we have great theaters here. Both the Orpheum and the State are beautiful on the inside, but this leaves them all in the dust. So the location was amazing. The show was fantastic. For people who know Queens of the Stone Age, they generally put on a massive melt-your-face rock and roll show. That's why I fell in love with them. But this last summer, they went to Paris and did a retooled version of themselves down in the catacombs. You can't turn it up to 11 down in the Paris catacombs, surrounded by millions of human remains. And so they had retooled a bunch of their songs, pulled out some of their weirder, quieter, darker stuff, reworked it with string quartet and horns, and they are taking a very small, they're taking that particular formation of the band on a very small tour. So these were really hard to get, even for diehard Queens fans, and my daughter acquired them. We drove there, saw a brilliant, incredible, impressive show on the opening night of that leg of the tour, and then the next morning we're in the vehicle before 9 o'clock and headed back home. So the turnaround was a little aggressive, but it's our favorite band, and so it was no question, and it was one of the great live shows I've seen in the last 5 years, if not the best live show I've seen in the last 5 years. It was just because knowing Queens as well as I do, there hasn't been a show like that. They haven't ever done anything quite like this before, and it mirrors beautifully. It's a very loving tribute. If people haven't watched, you can find it online a few places. They're live in the catacombs. You will not, if you're new to Queens, this is not what they normally sound like, but it's absolutely, absolutely beautiful. So I had a fantastic time, and I encourage people, when you're on the fence, you're like, can I really do an overnight to Chicago or Atlanta or wherever? You can fly and take a lot of the stress off that. Neither my daughter nor I have gotten our real ID yet, so we had to drive, but I don't regret any of it. The expense, the amount of time. I got great quality time with my daughter, who's amazing, and I got to see my favorite current band on the planet live. It was really it was great. So people who are on the fence, whether it's with a loved one or a good pal of yours or a family member, whatever, and you get a chance to go do just even a quick overnight somewhere or see some music that really matters to you and moves you on the inside, just do it, man. D'Angelo would encourage you to do it. The amount of time we have and the number of minutes left in front of us has an end date. It has a finite number on it, so don't waste any of them.
Text messages is pretty sure Chris Squire was the only full-time member of Yes. He was the only, I don't know if full-time member is the right way to say it. He was the only member of the band that was there from the very beginning until his death. He died about 4 or 5 years ago at the age of 71. But yeah, he never left. there were guys that were there for a while, they left, come back. You know how that works. But
Exactly.
He was the only one.
Especially a band of musicians like that. You're going to look at the Yardbirds. I mean, you're going to phase people in and out. Before we get to Rock Rank today, can I hit you with a Taylor Swift fun fact?
Is there anything fun, factual about Taylor Swift? Go ahead.
Are you joking me? I know. You stirring the pot right there. Even for me, and I'm not a full-blown Swiftie. Her latest album, Life of a Showgirl, she just shattered even her own record. She scored her 15th number one album on Billboard's 200 album chart, which is a new record, the most number ones among soloists. And she also wrote a message to fans. In an era where no one buys physical product and no one gets the whole album anymore, Taylor Swift is that Adele-like anomaly.
Right.
She shifted 4 million units in week one. That does not happen in the modern day and age. The system is specifically set up so that's not how the music game works anymore. And she was 16 years old, almost 20 years ago, right? And her first record it sold 40,000 in its first week. And she said, I can't believe that many people care. Now 100 times that, bought her full-length release the week that it came out, and she's there continues to be no one like her, and she is
good for her.
She's doing exceptionally well. In case you're wondering,
we're all thrilled.
Well, you're not, but apparently 4 million people couldn't wait to get their hands on her whole new record.
When you're 17 years old, of course, and a gal that's 17 years old, of course you're into it.
All right.
Let's go ahead and do it, Tennessee.
Rock Rank.
Rock Rank.